Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Radical Geek YouTube channel. Give me a thumbs up if you hear the audio because it has been very weird lately. So just want to double check. And I didn't even make the switch to StreamYard yet, so why it's being weird, I don't know. But I see that Justin Tibia was here first, and I've got to take my earbud out. And Dyson says hello. Jen is here, says happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you all as well. And thanks for the thumbs up. Helps to confirm that. Lisa mentions, I'm just going to try and make this. Wow, increasing the screen size doesn't make the print bigger. I guess it's going to be a rough night. I'm having trouble seeing today. I don't know what's that all about. But Lisa's cooking a bacon burger for their boys and is excited for the ghost garlic dip. Me too, and especially because I roasted the garlic a little while ago and it smells so good. I may have gone overboard because I may have increased the garlic from the recipe, which was 2 heads, and I'm like, because I'm one of those people. 2 cloves of garlic really means 25, you know. One of my favorite places in the world to visit is, and it's actually been like probably decades, but is in California. It's called the Stinking Rose. And after you eat there, it's so much garlic, but you smell garlicky for a couple days. But it's so good. Let's see. And Just the Tibia says they're portioning out 16 pounds of chicken breasts and portioning 6 pounds of wings because they went to Sam's yesterday. They made a crock pot Italian beef, and it's going to make pork belly and Brussels sprouts later. Wow, that is a lot of meal prep. I did no such thing. I made a pot roast yesterday, and then I bought some ribs today because we stopped in at Costco and they were $2.99 a pound. So it was too good of a deal to pass up. So we'll have ribs for a couple days. Ooh, and Lisa's asking if Just the Tibia found any spooky Halloween goodies at Sam's. That's a good question because it is Halloween season. Time to start putting up the decorations. I think after we put ours up, I might take some of the sheeting down, but I think I'm going to leave lights and spiders out until the first snowfall. He says, what? What? I don't know what you're asking, or if you're just being funny about the audio. You'll have to clarify for me. You know, text doesn't always put the inflection across. So. Oh, and Just the Tibia says they had some cool stuff, but it was out of the budget. Yeah, one of these years, I want to buy one of those big giant dragons. In fact, not just one, but like 4, so I can put like a big little dragon series in the yard. But man, they're like several $100s each, so, you know, forget it. We're more of the budget people here. Let's see, and Reichwood is here, so Lisa's joined us, Hungry Heath is here, Gigi's here, Patty B is here. Good to see everybody. Susan B is here, and Reichwood is here. Oh, and Reichwood says they also love garlic. They have an old recipe for chicken with like 25 cloves of garlic. Oh, I love that recipe. We haven't made one in so long. But yeah, that's a good thought too. I do love that chicken recipe. It comes out really nice. The other tip with that, the 25 or 50 clove garlic chicken, I can't remember how much it is, but once you shove all the garlic in there, cut a lemon in half and give it a light squeeze and shove those in there to kind of like encase the garlic into the chicken and then tie the legs. Fantastic. Oh, Hungry Heath. He's making DP jokes, guys. If you don't know, you're better off for it. So, Diet Pepsi jokes. So, let's see. Susan B says, good evening to everyone. Dennis has joined us, and Stacy is here. Oh, they have a dragon collection. That's super cool. Oh, and Hungry Heath says they've been to the Stinking Rose. They agree that it's good. Oh, and Just the Tibia says they want one of the 12-foot skeletons so bad. Oh, me too. I'll tell you, if I got a 12-foot skeleton, it's going up in the yard, and it ain't ever coming down. I'm just going to change his outfits with the seasons. That's it. Um, Last year, one of the houses around here had several of them, and they put them climbing up on the house, and that was probably the coolest display I've seen in a long time. Just the tibia reminding us of that chicken bondage book. Those were pretty funny. I still didn't get my copy. I should probably check and see what happened to it. I don't know if it got lost. I don't remember if it got refunded or not, but someone else ordered it too. I'll have to check on that. That was hilarious. What a find, that book. Oh, and Susie B says they gave Brian and Karen a lot of hugs. Nice. Oh, let's see. Oh, and Just the Tibia says yes, but until then they have Billy, which is, if you haven't seen the picture of Just the Tibia's Billy, he rides in her car. It's awesome. So I want to go ahead and get started. We'll say hellos and go through comments some more in a little bit, and inevitably I'll lose track, which is kind of sad considering that, we're a small group and I still can't do it. But one day, anyways, talk amongst yourselves, which is the coffee talk way. So tonight, we're going to do two things. I'm going to make a garlic goat cheese dip, and also we're going to talk about dragon pearl tea. So it's a tea night. I know that you can't see them because my camera is further away. Let me move this so I can see. But dragon pearls, or jasmine pearls, are little teeny tiny balls of tea that have been hand rolled. I know you can't see them. I need another person at some point to come and just join me so they can go like right up to the camera. But they're like eighth of an inch balls, and like I said, these days there are some machine rolled pearls, but that's really usually low grade and kind of frowned upon in tea culture. Tea pearls, especially jasmine dragon pearls, are hand rolled. It's imported from China. The hand rolled dragon pearls are one of those things that's not replicated for the real deal, and that is because the bushes itself is the Dubai cultivar tea, which means big white bush, and so the leaves are hand picked there. And the pearl is actually made from the bud and a couple of the outer leaves, and then hand rolled. It's then put away to dry all the way. It's put away when they bloom in the spring, in the early spring, left to dry out until the summer, because in the summer is when the jasmine blooms. And so at night when the blooms come out in full and are their most scented, they pick the blossoms and put them on top of the rolled dried tea. And that is how they get scented. They lay there like that for 12 to 24 hours. And there you go. We have our Japanese dragon tea balls. And I have more nerd stuff about it. But let's get it going. The thing about the tea balls is, you'll see I have my teapot here, but I've actually got my strainer here, and I'm going to put my tea balls in it. You don't need a massive amount, but I'm going to brew a pretty hearty sized pot. Usually it's a tablespoon for 8 to 12 ounces. So I did like a tablespoon and a half. We'll make a good hearty portion here. The water, you want to be at about 180 degrees, so not quite boiling. And the first thing you're going to do, it's actually a multi-steep process. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of the water right in here. You can see it's not in my teapot. And we're going to leave that for 3 or so minutes. This is a bloom. Just like we do with coffee, you have to bloom these. What that does is it softens up the leaves and starts the opening process of the tea pearls. And the first part, you always discard. This is something that they don't necessarily teach people about tea brewing. They say, oh, you brew it, you can steep it 3 to 7 times. They don't mean you just boil the crap out of your tea and then as it progressively gets weaker and weaker, then it's no good anymore. It's actually part of the brewing process. The first brew is just to loosen everything up, bring forward the aromas, and prepare the tea leaves. So that's your first steep. And with pearls, you're going to do about 3 steeps. And the first one is always just your bloom, and you discard it. You don't drink that. And that's a mistake a lot of people make, is they throw their tea in there, they don't bloom it, and then the tea is like way grassy, dirty, bitter. So that's because you're supposed to get rid of it. You get rid of this all, and then we'll put it in our pot, and we'll do the next steep. The next steep, you do drink that, and it's usually bright and flavorful. And then you do a third steep. You'll take your leaves out, set them aside. You can do a third steep, and then that would be your fully developed tea. So we're only going to get through the second one tonight because I can only drink so much tea. And as always, I have my special tea glass. It's a double wall insulated hand-blown glass. And that is because the smaller stout glass lets you get in there for the aroma. There's nothing in there now. It's fake smelling. So, but I can tell you that the jasmine smell is wafting up along with a little bit of the grassy green tea smell. Let's see. Where are we at here? Oh, talking about the chicken. Exchange Student 2 has joined us. It says hello to everybody. And questioning, we'd like to hear more about Dennis's journey. I agree. Anytime I've seen Dennis post or participate, it's been really quite enlightening. Really nice to hear, very friendly. So I always want to hear about the journeys people are traveling during their keto journeys or any health journey, really. So, just the tibia is making another off-color joke. Man, we're off the rails the last couple days, aren't we? Visual Keto says hello to everyone. And I'm going to go ahead and slowly get started on this goat cheese dip because it's going to need time to cook. Not an exhaustive amount of time, but I have here 10.5 ounces of goat cheese. It's been softened, which means I put it out on the counter this morning. And one thing that's not in the recipe, this is my personal preference. I'm adding about a half a teaspoon of black pepper. I just like it, and I felt like it today. You don't need it unless you want it. It's a highly flexible recipe. You can add chili flakes if you want, but I find that at this point, I'm really focusing on the thyme and garlic. I just think the pepper kind of highlights the thyme a bit. I have, it says 1/4 cup Parmesan cheese, which is the normal amount. I have about a cup here, and I'm going to put most of that right in here. Who wants to follow recipes anyways? So again, it also helps just to reiterate so you can see for yourselves that it's very flexible. And then in the recipe, I said set some aside. I'm going to set that aside over here with my little grape tomatoes. I'm going to put my thyme in here. That takes care of that. And my cream, which was the 3 tablespoons of cream. And now my roasted garlic. When you roast garlic, you can put it on in a smoker and make smoked garlic. You can air fry it. I put my heads in of garlic. I put them in tin foil. I cut the tops off, rub it with some avocado oil, give it a nice hearty shaking of salt, seal it up in the tin foil, and I bake it in the oven for about 40 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And then once it's all nice, you let it kind of cool down in that tin foil. And basically you just squeeze it out and give it a smush with a fork. And it's just a lovely, lovely, very mild flavor. And you don't want to use raw garlic in here because that will be overpoweringly sharp. You want that nice soft garlic flavor. And then we're just going to give this a mix, which takes a little bit here. I need to pull my tea pearls. We'll get back to mixing that in a second. And like I said, you can see the tea in here. It's dark and golden, but I'll taste it just to tell you for sure. Yeah, it's not terrible, but oh, it definitely gets that soapy flavor. That's the right word. So now we go ahead and we take our water and we go ahead and now we steep for reals. And I know that the coloring doesn't show as much on the channel, but immediately upon going, you see it begins to turn color instantly. And we just let that sit there so your pearls have a chance to unfurl. Let me pull one out. So you can see it went from that little ball and now it's, well, I guess you really can't see it, but I don't want it to fall. But you can see I stretched it all out. The leaves are all unfurled in here and nice and loose. So we just toss that in there and set it aside. We'll let that steep for a couple minutes. Finish mixing this up. And let's see what we got here. Oh, Jen says they have she had a good talk with Autumn. Game room will close at 6 to allow for cleanup and to let people get ready. So I actually can't be there as late as 6. I asked if I could get in touch with her to talk about the scheduling. There's a 0 chance that I can be there at 6 and run a game room if I have to go down 3 or so blocks to pick up coffee and also let people into my room to set up for a live stream starting not that far, not that much later. We'll be there for appetizers and stuff, but there's kind of some tasks that I have on hand. Now, if someone wants to hang around and be responsible for it during the second part of it, that's fine. So I'll reach out to a couple people and see how they feel about that. But I was actually thinking I just need to talk to Autumn and we'll work out some of the details. Oh, if you're going to be at Keto Palooza Thursday night and plan to be around earlier in the day on Friday, do me a favor and post or let me know. And let's see what kind of shenanigans we can get up to. All right, give me 1 second to just give this a final, make sure everything is combined and I don't have any big lumps of anything in one spot, because you want all your flavors to mix in. You'll notice that I didn't add salt, which seems counterintuitive to keto, but I think you also saw that I added a metric ton of Parmesan cheese, and Parmesan cheese and goat cheese both can be kind of salty, so that was plenty. At this point, we're going to get ready to put it in our dish. I'm going to hit my air fryer and put it on 400, and let me just back off the time here a little to 15 minutes. We'll get that preheating. And let me just set here and get this into my little casserole dish. So far, that's like the easiest recipe we've made in a long time, right? And in there, and then just kind of even it out a bit. And the nice thing about this recipe is that it is excellent. Excellent to like take to parties, picnics or whatever, because it's really flexible. If you're taking it to a place where there's non-keto people, get some of them little bread rounds and throw it on there. However, I never feel any sort of guilt whatsoever by taking like some cucumber slices and celery, because it goes well with that. I take high-low chips and pork rinds. Sky's the limit. It's really delicious. The other plan I have for this is I bought some mushrooms, but they're supposed to be baby Bellas, but they were really big, like huge and round. And so tomorrow I'm going to throw them on my smoker to soften them up. And then I'm just going to throw a little bit of this dip and then warm them up at the end. And those will be amazing. A nice side dish for my leftover pot roast. So very, very flexible. As soon as that preheats, we'll get it in there. My tea is brewed. It looks really light because jasmine tea is a very, very light green tea, but it is very flavorful. So we are going to go ahead and remove the pearls. You don't want to leave them in there forever because they will oversteep and get very, very bitter. I think you can see now that I've removed the mesh that it is a nice, lovely little golden color. Maybe not in front of my Discord shirt. So we just set that, and of course, now we let it breathe. Breathing is very important for tea, just like you let your coffee rest, you let your tea rest, which also means you don't scald your mouth on it. All right. While everything is in a holding pattern, let's take a look here. Stacy's joined us and says recipes are just idea influencers. I agree. Some people do need recipes though, and that's fine too. Let's see. Questioning, Dennis, what are you eating tonight? Dennis, there's a lot of pressure for you today. Let's see. Hungry, he says, hello to people. Was off finishing dinner. Lots of hellos back and forth. Hey, the warden, good to see you tonight. And let's see. Oh, Jen says she can handle the 6 o'clock and wrangle her husband to clean up. Aren't you going to be off site picking people up? I'm just double checking. I want us to have a good time and not have to be overcommitted to things. I want to have fun, but I have also ideas too. I'll circle back to people on that later. Let's see. Susan's going to arrive sometime on Thursday. They'll be driving in, so they don't know what time yet. Yeah, and plus I have to shop on the way in too. The warden says they found a cheese and chocolate shop and got some goat cheese coated with ash. Oh, that's interesting. Love to hear a little bit more about that. Oh, and then they found an herb shop which had like 3 dozen herbs to make your own tea blend. Nice. Yeah, I've often thought about that, but I don't know. I don't want to mess something up, and a lot of the herbs and flowers and stuff are expensive. So I've been hesitant, and plus I have a friend who runs Tea Punk Tea who has the gift. I call it the gift because her blends are just, man, they're out of this world. So my air fryer has heated up. Let me get my little, pull this out so I can put it in. My tinfoil lifted up, so 1 second. Alrighty. So I've got it going for 15 minutes. Sometimes the air fryer cooks it fast, so you do have to periodically keep an eye, make sure it's not getting too toasty, because you can always start the second part of the process along the way. Let's see. Exchange said that student 2 says they picked up an Instant Pot air fryer lid for $5 today and made some chicken thighs and then fried the skin too. Wow, nice. And just a tidbit, says for a tip for those hunting the sambal opak or sriracha. They went to their Asian market yesterday and their shelves were completely stocked, like there was no shortage whatsoever. Gotta have it for that Hey Yo sauce, which is a sauce from the Hungry Heath channel. So that was the warden in Hungry Heath who made that Hey Yo sauce. It is actually very tasty. I highly recommend going through their videos and finding the recipe. Let's see. Oh, and then Jen says they picked up Shauna Thursday night at 5 p.m. Oh, Thursday night, not Friday. Okay. Well, that makes a difference. Then Susan says that the farmer's market with their son this morning, they stopped at the hot sauce booth, which reminded her of all of us crazy people. She didn't say crazy people, but it's implied. Hey, Rhonda, good to see you. I was thinking about you the other day. You'll know why, but it won't be for a couple weeks still. But afterwards, I'll complain about it for you. And I know that's completely vague and makes no sense, but it will. It'll all come together. Yeah, so by comparison, now that I've taken a sip of this, it's sweet and bright and really not lovely and light. Whereas that first bloom tasted like dirty soap. So a tremendous difference. It's kind of surprising what a big difference that bloom is, and it's often the reason that I think a lot of people don't like green teas. And in fact, how coincidental, Dennis says that earlier today he had tuna with sardine salad on sourdough followed by green tea. So let's see. Oh, and Susan said they also stopped at a pork rind booth, so they had to buy some of those. Guy cooks them in lard with good ingredients for the flavored ones. Nice. And Rhonda says she'll be listening for whatever it is. You won't even have to listen. You'll see. So Lisa says the fresh pork rinds are so good. I agree. She gets hers from the Hispanic market. They fry them up on Tuesdays. Irony, they don't do that at our Hispanic market here. They don't have the fresh ones. But we have a weird little Irish brew pub that makes fresh pork rinds. I don't know why, but we also have a barbecue food truck. And not only is their barbecue spectacular, but their fresh pork rinds are out of this world. So, but we're not that picky about the pork rinds. I just try to buy them at the grocery, and they've been out a lot. I totally don't understand that. So, Exchange Student 2 says they've had tuna salad for the last 3 days. Today, while I was at Costco, they were sampling the albacore tuna, and it almost made me buy more, but I have tuna in the cabinet, so. But it was really good, and they were mixing it with the Primal Kitchen mayonnaise as part of their promo, so it was like perfect. And they were also sampling the Green Ridge beef sticks. It was custom made for me today at the Costco. So, the other thing too, when you taste tea, make sure that you give it like a nice hearty slurp so that it permeates throughout your mouth. And that helps with the flavor as well. While you guys come up with some more things to talk about, I'll just nerd it up here for a little bit about tea. Because Jasmine Dragon Pearls are some of my favorite. Not only because I really super enjoy the taste, but because their origins and all of their story is hilarious. Just like a lot of the other stuff, it's rife with controversy. They don't know the origins about where it came from. They say either it came to China from India during the Han Dynasty, or it was introduced from Iran during the Tang Dynasty. So 2 different periods, and both of them, both Iran and India, lay claim to introducing the tea to China for the bush that they used to make these Jasmine Dragon Tea Pearls. What is the same between the 2 stories is that when the blend became popular in China, it was very exclusive, only for the royalty and only for specifically the emperor and his inner circle. So it was very much, it's often, in fact, sometimes in stores, it's called the Emperor's Blend instead of Jasmine Dragon Pearls. So, and right now, these, the bushes, the tea tree bushes, are in the northern, forgive me, again, not something that I know specifically on the pronunciation, northern Fujian. So that is where they are primarily grown. And again, they are picked. I need to check this. Oh, It's really going fast today, so I'm not sad about that. So we're going to, where is my little heat towel? Do step 2. We're going to have dip early today. Nice. I don't want to burn my little vinyl cloth here. But you can see the top of it is all toasty and golden brown. So now we do the second step, which is we're going to put these grape tomatoes right on top. If you want to, you can cut them in half, but I think that they're better if you leave them whole. And I actually have a variety of tomatoes here. I buy the little bulk containers. It's going to give it a nice little cover there. And, there it is. I lost the cheese. Blasphemy. And then you give it one more sprinkle of this shredded Parmesan on top. Spill some on the tin foil so it can burn. That's the way with cheese, of course. And now we're going to attempt to put this back in. But since I tore the tin foil up, it's going to be a pain in the behind. So just try not to burn myself. And it's probably going to make like weird noises because the tin foil is no longer secured down, so it's going to float around. But we'll let that finish off for the next 9 minutes. And then we will have our goat cheese dip. Let's see here. I lost track, so give me a second to find my space. Oh, and Hungry, he says he was excited. He and the warden were excited to find a local cafe where they were serving fresh fried chicharrones, but the joy quickly turned to sadness when the owner proudly said she fried them in canola oil. Oh, that is a bummer. Why would they do that? That's very strange. Although I know that in our country we shy away from the lard, and canola oil is heavily popularized as part of the standard American diet. It's really put out there like it's healthy, and so when people come to the United States, they try to cater to our palates. So that is why sometimes they will switch to these less than wonderful ingredients. It is definitely unfortunate. Oh, where was I? Oh, I was telling stories. Oh yeah. So, both India and Iran like to make claims for the pearl tea, but once it got to China and it took place, and they started developing the pearling method. Really, that started to take off during the Song dynasty, which is in the 1200s, and continued on getting perfected into the Ming dynasty in the 1300s. And that is where they started adding the jasmine in and all of that stuff. And at that time, it was just called tea, but it was tea pearls, and then jasmine tea pearls, and the dragon part came in. Because, like all amazing foods, there has to be great stories and mythology that goes along with it, right? And this is no exception. So, and being as someone who studied literature, although I was more specific to English literature, I love all of these stories that get handed down. And what it is they say that there was once a family whose young son in the Fujian region was gravely ill. I hear my tomatoes bursting. That's an exciting sound to me. Oh, and Exchange Student, she said they've been getting goat cheese ads since the other week. She said she didn't care for goat cheese. Of course. So it's exciting. I don't know if you can hear it on the stream. I think the muffler will block that popping sound out, but it's music to my ears. Oh yeah, so anyways, this family from the Fujian region had a son who was gravely ill, and his sister was just completely devastated because they were very close, as families were back in those days. It wants me to turn the food, which we don't do when it's in a casserole dish. It'll stop beeping in a second and just continue on cooking. So, anyway, so he was gravely ill, and she was devastated and grieving for her brother, who it seemed inevitable that he was going to die because no medicine person could cure him. He was just so ill. But she heard rumors about a magical dragon up in the mountains. So she set off on her quest to find this dragon, and people told her, oh, no one's ever seen the dragon. The dragon has disappeared centuries ago. You're going to waste your time on this journey. But the more she looked at her sick brother, she headed out into the mountains. And as time passed, she became more and more disheartened, thinking perhaps she never was going to find this dragon. Until one day, high up into the mountains, she went into a cave to escape the weather. And lo and behold, she finds the dragon. And he was very angry because his cave was being disturbed by how dare this young human do such a thing. But she approached the dragon and pleaded her case and begged him to help her. And the dragon was so moved by the emotion she emoted in her pleading that he soared out of the cave and up into the air. And as he soared higher and higher up into the air, a great pearl developed in his chest. And out of the pearl, a drop of water fell down into the ground. And magically, out of that drop grew the tea bush. And the dragon came down and he told the girl, you have to tend to this bush. And as long as you tend to this bush and you grow it until it blooms, your brother can be saved. And she waited, and she made it through the entire winter, every day tending the bush and worrying that as the time passed, that perhaps she wouldn't get back before her brother passed. But she did everything the dragon said, and eventually she picked the leaves and she rolled them into the pearls so that they would survive the trip back to her village. And when she finally got back to the village with the tea leaves, she brewed the tea just as the dragon had told her, and lo and behold, he got better. So that is our myth about the Jasmine Tea Pearls. I didn't waste quite enough time telling you stories, because now I'm done. But I don't know if other people enjoy a lot of these fables and fairy tales. Every culture has them, and I just love them. I love fables and fairy tales. Oh, and Exchange Student 2 says they boiled some eggs and made deviled eggs for the week. That sounds really good. I've got to get it together. This weekend I have a picnic, which is potluck, and I need to decide whether I'm going to take like berries and cream, or if I'm going to take quiches. Like if I make quiches, I'm going all out, and I'm making the coconut flour pie crust because it's amazing. I take the Two Crazy Ketos coconut flour pie crust, and I leave out the sweetener, and I mix in some pasted herbs. Fantastic for quiches. Oh, and Lisa's asking what my favorite tea is. Just so you know, they're all my favorites. Every time I have one, when I get the brew just right, I'm like, that's my favorite. And then next week I'll make another pot, and I'll be like, oh, that's really my favorite. I do tend to really lean into oolongs. But again, these pearls are delightful. So whenever they come into stock at our local Asian market, I do tend to pick them up. Exchange Student 2 likes talking dragons, which I do too. And I especially love magical dragons who are mean, but in their stories, eventually, they might come off mean, but they're actually soft and squishy in the heart, and not in a being slayed way, but in an emotional way. That's my favorite thing about all of these dragons. Oh, and the warden says they also love green tea and dragon oolong. Yeah, oolong of all sorts is my favorite. A sturdy black teas. I don't know. I really dig them a lot. All right, let's pull this out. I grabbed my little thing, but really this requires my good keto chow mitt. You guys remember, if you had subscriptions to the chow box, this was one of the mitts they gave us. I actually have some that don't have any advertisements on them. All right, so I know I've got like the whole tray here, so it looks a little ridiculous, but let me hold this up here. I don't want it to spill, but you can see now our little tomatoes have sunk in a bit. The Parmesan cheese melted in and got like a nice little crispy on the top. It's screaming hot, so we're going to let that sit for a minute before I dig in, because sometimes I get too excited for delicious things and I burn my mouth, and I am unwilling to scald away my mouth on this. I will have just enough patience that instead of scalding it, I'll only merely burn it a little. I do have my plate here, and what I've got for tasting it is a couple of these high-low chips. And I also brought the high-key almond flour crackers. So I know Hungry Heat can't eat either of these things because they have almond flour in it. But like I said, it's really flexible. It's great with vegetables. It's awesome to put it in stuffed mushrooms. Fantastic on cucumber slices. You know what I haven't tried is making the cheese crackers with the with pork rind crumbs instead of almond flour. We should try that. And Lisa says, yes, the dip looks good. Oh, and just the tibia says my mic seems like it has a weird sound or feedback or echo of some sort. Is it still doing it, just the tibia? I'm wondering if it was from the air fryer. Hopefully it cleared up. And also it could have just been bouncing off the table as I leaned over. That too. Could be lots of things. Also, the boom mic is like literally right here above my head. So who knows? Audio is crazy. I'm not very good at it, so it's a work in progress. But I actually think it could have been the rustling of the tinfoil and the running of the air fryer. So, oh, and Exchange Student 2 says dipping it in, using bacon. Yes, bacon chips would be excellent with this. As would pepperoni chips or salami chips. I'll grab my napkin and spoon. Really, it's just delicious on anything. So I'll pull a big piece out. Oh, the top cheese skirt fell. I'll have to get a second piece. So the tomatoes are soft and squishy, but because we put them in at the end, they're not like completely obliterated. So they still have like some texture to it. And as you squish into them a little bit, they leak out the juices, and so it continues to further enhance the flavor of the dip. Oh, why does more keep falling on my plate, guys? Anyways, we know why. It's greed. So, but there you go on the plate. It's awesome. Oh, Raikwen says, ooh, try it with biltong. That would be interesting. I don't know if the biltong and the goat cheese flavors together might be two strong flavors that don't hit, but I don't know, maybe. But you know what it would be amazing with? Ooh, ribeye crisps. I don't care if you buy them from Carnivore Crisps or you make your own. Ooh, ribeye playing off of this would be amazing. And the warden agrees that broiled tomatoes are really good. And Exchange Student 2 says they like the siete lime chips. They're cassava flour. So maybe closer to paleo than keto. Yeah, I don't know. I've tried a lot of things with the cassava flour, and I feel like it should not bother me. So I don't know if it's psychosomatic or if I actually have a problem with it. But a lot of times the next day my stomach hurts. So I'm just going to call it a win for me that the almond flour doesn't seem to bother me as long as I don't go crazy and eat a ton of it. Oh, he says he loves it when I lose my skirt. The cheese skirt, guys, the cheese skirt. So, and Hungry He says the pork rind crumb crackers sound like a delicious snack for the birthday feast. Well, I'll have to test it out and see if it works. You know, the almond flour Cheez-It crackers from the Too Crazy Keto is really just blending together cheese and almond flour to make a dough because the oils from the cheese and the almond flour moistens it up enough, and then you just roll it out. So I don't know why not. But yeah, Hungry Heath is saying, what about carnivore crisps? That's what I was talking about. The ribeye carnivore crisps would be incredible. All right, I'm going in. I got my little cracker. Oh, okay, now I'm going to burn my mouth. Let me cut this up a little bit. The minute I picked it up, a big pile of steam came out of it, so we'll see. I'm hungry. It's making me salivate. Let's see. Garlicky delicious. Oh, and Hungry He tells me, make it happen. I'll test it, and we'll see if I can make it come out. Oh, hey, Air Fried Auntie, happy birthday! My gift to you is that I'm not going to sing a song. But, you're packing up for the weekend. I hope that it was amazing and everything you were hoping for. And Exchange Student 2 says, a reminder to give a thumbs up, which I'd greatly appreciate. Those really help a lot with the channel. As do comments. So make sure after this uploads tomorrow that you go and leave a comment. Tell me about your experience with various recipes, alternatives you want to see to some of the recipes that we do, or popular recipes that have things that you can't have that you want to see modified. Other things that you want to see on the channel. By the way, even though this doesn't have any pearls in it, you should know that as it's rested, the color has deepened. So that's something too you should know. Like right at first, it's lighter in color, but even without the pearls, the color develops, and that's part of the fun part with the tea. So that helps enrich with the aroma as well. It just sort of deepens and enriches. I don't know what magic that is. Dragon magic, I suppose. But, so that's a thing there. Oh, and Airfry Nanny says, yes, that it was a fabulous weekend. I'm so glad to read that. So, have a drink of my water. So, but yeah, so I have a picnic this weekend coming. And I'm trying to decide what to make. Actually, this goat cheese dip is a top contender. But next week I'm doing another goat cheese based dip. And so that could also be a possibility. Maybe not as much because it has shrimp in it. But even though I have that picnic coming up, then the next weekend we have one of our gaming gatherings for our OhioCon team. And the director of overhead of all of the gaming, because I'm just the head of the tabletop gaming, he is a smoking master, and he always does a brisket, and I cross my fingers every time that he's going to make short ribs, because the short ribs were literally the best thing I have ever eaten, hands down. And I have eaten a lot of foods in a lot of amazing places with a lot of amazing chefs, and those short ribs, man, They are incredible. But so I definitely like to up my game in the dishes that I take for the sides. Last time he asked me to bring vegetables, which I thought was, well, that was a different thing to ask for me, the meat eater. But it's not that I don't do vegetables, so it worked out great though because I made zucchini, squash, grape tomato, and mushroom kebabs, and uh, it was funny because at the end he was like, when I was getting ready to leave, he asked if I could leave some, and I said, "How many?" And he, because they were on skewers, and he said 9, and I was like, 9? It wasn't the quantity; it was that 9 was a weird number, and also I didn't think there were actually 9 there, but it was hilarious. Oh, and Hungry Heath is saying, "What if I bought some short ribs to cook for me?" You know, that's not a bad plan. Although I will tell you that I've offered to say, like, since you're doing all this hosting, what if I bought some of the meat for you? And he is dead set against it because he feels that very strongly that this is part of the thanks that he's giving to us as uh, all of the hard work we do. So let's see. Oh, just the tibia has said that they bought a little 9.74 ounce. That's oddly specific. 4-ounce screw top can of black unsweetened coffee from the Asian market because they wanted a little cold drink. It's a Japanese product and it was so smooth. The brand is UCC, if I've heard of it. To be honest, I don't always know the brand names. I do know that there are a lot of really nice canned coffees there, but you gotta be really careful to get the unsweetened ones. And sometimes it's not always easy to tell. So you gotta really, especially if their nutrition is not in English, because their nutrition labels don't always follow the same path that ours do in the United States. So sometimes I have to ask for extra help. But when you find those, yes, pretty much all of the unsweetened, just plain black canned coffees that they have are really good. They know coffee, all I can say. More birthdays to Airfry and Auntie. Just the Tibia says, I missed their comment. Oh, is that the one I just read about the black unsweetened coffee? Because I did, but I actually just caught it, so that's awesome. And then let's see. Lots of birthday wishes for Airfry and Auntie, our awesome, amazing moderator for so many of our channels. Oh, hey, Ready Set Keto's joined us. You're late. You're right, I'm already eating. But there's always replay. So I've got goat cheese dip with blistered tomatoes and Parmesan on top. It's chock full of goat cheese and Parmesan and so much garlic, which makes it extra delicious in my book. And thyme, which, by the way, the thyme came from my little herb garden. So you can actually put other herbs in there if you want. I just really like thyme, and it's the best thing in my garden. I think basil is too strong of a flavor for this, but oregano would be nice, as would sage. Oh, and just Tibia said it had English and Japanese, just coffee and water. Nice. Oh, he had company. Well, I'm always happy when there's company, so I think that's great. Oh, and Hungry Heath says that Ready Set Keto should be ready to be heckled. Now, Hungry Heath, I save a lot of that for you. It's special. Oh, and 2FX and J is here, also late, but that's okay. There's no time police here. And like I said, that's what replay is for. Hello to the warden, and calls out about the warden's awesome, amazing red hair. If you guys haven't seen a picture of the warden, oh my god, her hair is just like amazing. I have hair that is making me nuts. And so I finally made an appointment for Tuesday, and I am getting most of it shaved off. And I can't wait. I am so ready to get rid of it. It actually bothers me so much that it's making it disrupt my sleep. Oh, Ready Set Keto are the hecklers. Well, I'm all right with that. Actually, we're from Ohio. We speak the same language. Sarcasm is our love language. So let's see. Airfry Nanny said she had friends take her out to dinner Thursday night and Friday night on her birthday. So Saturday was a free burger at the Habit Grill, and lost track of all the free coffee. That's the best birthday. That sounds amazing. So, but I hope you like the dragon story. Those are awesome, and some more hellos back and forth. And Hungry Heath reminds us, real friends stab you in the front. Oh, and the warden says they want to get red and black dye done on their hair. That sounds awesome, but be prepared that if you go with black dye, that it takes forever, and getting rid of it is really hard. It'll fade and get kind of muted and greenish, but it'll not go away. And the only way to get rid of it is to work hard on bleaching it out, which damages your hair. And you have such long, gorgeous red hair. I caution going down that route, but hey, it's your hair, and you know what? Hair grows back, so enjoy if you want. Exchange Student 2 is asking if I'm going to have a video tomorrow. I don't know. Well, I assume you're asking me. Yeah, because I had backed off on the videos while I was going through a lot of heavy things at work. But yes, I'm about ready to get back on schedule, and I do have a video for tomorrow. So I will be back on schedule, and I am so relieved because that is a good sign that I have passed through the worst of things. So, yay! Oh, and Airfry Nanny says any color changes she does now won't include bleaching. Oh, and the warden says it was solid black and shoulder length. Wow, that's amazing. So, yeah, I used to do goth black is what I called it. And I actually really enjoy it. And weirdly, it looks more natural on me than one would think. And because my hair is dark, it's not as impactful as it is on someone with light hair. So I don't know. I'm not against that. I've also briefly thought about going anime white with a big shock of my hair on top, but the maintenance on that is just too incredible. And I've ultimately said, despite how much I might love it initially, I know myself, the fact that I detest the merest little bit of combing in the morning is a good sign that I should not do anything too fancy. Let's see. Hunger Heath is talking to Ready Set Keto and says, I guess what they say is true. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. Oh, Lord. The crown? I'm not sure. Oh, and Ready Set Keto reminds Hungry Heath it's not heckling, it's imitating. Indeed. 2FX is being very complimentary, saying I know a lot about many things, but, jack of all trades, master of none. And so there we are. I know actually a lot of crap is actually what I know, and not as much on the useful stuff. Sure, I can tell you magical dragon stories, and I can do some math. But, can I give you good directions? Not so much. At any rate, I think I am about ready to go for the night. I'm going to finish drinking some of this tea and eat my little bit of goat cheese dip. Hope that you like the recipe. And again, don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell icon for notifications. And what else am I forgetting? I don't know. I'll see you tomorrow on Keto on the Couch, and I am going to be back onto my regular videos. So all of that is happening. And I think that is everything. Don't forget to leave comments down below. Tell me things you want to see in the future. Let me know what you've got up and coming. And have a great week, everyone. See you later. Bye-bye.